The best way to pass RCM Level 8 Music Theory Exam Part 3. In the previous videos, we have explained all the important concepts that can help you pass the RCM Level 8 Music Theory Exam. In this video, we will explain some RCM exam samples, so that you have a better understanding of how to answer those questions. The first question is about intervals and its inversions. You already know how to count intervals. If you want to find major 2 or major 3, you can count from the perfect 1 forward. If you want to find perfect 5 or major 7, you can count from the perfect 8 backward. You need to have a keyboard in your mind, so that you know how to count steps. The first item is major 7, which is just 1/2 step below perfect 8. The perfect 8 for F sharp is still F sharp, 1/2 step below F sharp is E sharp. You shouldn't use F, because each note should be different, even though they are the same pitch. From F, you count like this: F, G, A, B, C, D, E, then you work out the accidental. For the inversion, there is a trick. The inversion of a major interval is always a minor interval, the inversion of a minor interval is always a major interval. The inversion of a perfect interval is still a perfect interval. The inversion of an augmented interval is always a diminished interval, and the inversion of a diminished interval is always an augmented interval. The sum of the two intervals are always 9. So you know the inversion of a major 7 interval is a minor 2. You only need to change the positions of F sharp and E sharp. The second item is diminished 3. You know major 3 is 2 whole steps above. Minor 3 is 1/2 step below major 3. And diminished 3 is additional 1/2 step below. Major 3 for C sharp is E sharp, so diminished 3 is E flat. For diminished intervals, if it's from a perfect key, it's 1/2 step below. However, for a major key, it's 1 whole step below, because the minor key is 1/2 step below. The inversion of diminished 3 is augmented 6. That's the trick you already know. The third item is perfect 12, which seems weird. A perfect 12 is the same as a perfect 8 plus a perfect 5. The inversion of a perfect 5 is perfect 4. Now you can work it out by yourself. The fourth item is diminished 5. A perfect 5 is 7/2 steps above. Since there is no minor, the diminished 5 is just 1/2 step below the perfect 5. The pitch should be C. However, you have to count G, A, B, C, D to make a 5. C is the same as double flat D. This is how it works. The fifth item is minor 9, which is a perfect 8 plus a minor 2. Perfect 8 is E flat, minor 2 is 1/2 step above, which is F flat. The inversion of a minor 2 is major 7. Now you know how to work on those questions. It takes some time to practice. The second question is about time signature and rest. You already know the basic concepts. In simple time, the top number represents the number of beats in each measure, while the bottom number represents the value of the note that receives 1 beat. In compound time, the top number represents the number of pulses in each measure, while the bottom number represents the value of the note that receives 1 pulse. The first item is compound time, quadruple meter. The pulse in each measure is 12, and the value of 1 pulse is 8th note. So there should be 12 eighth notes and 4 main beats, but there is only 5 in the first measure. The first 4 notes are in 1 beat. The last note is equivalent to 1/8 note and 1/16 note. You should add 1/8 rest and 1/16 rest to make the last beat. The remaining beats should be a dotted quarter rest. For the second measure, we already have the first and last beats. The remaining beats should be a dotted quarter rest. You can work out the third measure by yourself. The second item is simple time, with 4 beats in each measure, and the value of 1 beat is 1/2 note. If you understand all the different rests, it's easy to answer the question. You can work out other items by yourself. Now you know how to work on those questions. It takes some time to practice. The third question is about key signature and triad. For sharp keys, you just find the last sharp sign, and go up 1 key. So, item 1 is D major, item 4 is E major, item 6 is F sharp major. You know C and F are always special. For flat keys, you just find the last flat sign, and go down 3 keys. So, item 2 is B flat major, items 3 is D flat major, Item 5 is A flat major. Then, let's work on triads. For the first item, it's D major, but the three keys are C sharp, E, and A. From C sharp to E, it's 3 half steps. From E to A, it's 5 half steps. Generally speaking, a major triad at root position should be 4 half steps between the first two notes, and 3 half steps between the last two notes. This is major 3 and perfect 5. A minor triad would be 3 half steps and 4 half steps, which is minor 3 and perfect 5. A major triad at first inversion should be 3 half steps and 5 half steps. A minor triad at first inversion should be 4 half steps and 5 half steps. A major triad at second inversion should be 5 half steps and 4 half steps. A minor triad at second inversion should be 5 half steps and 3 half steps. In the question, it's 3 half steps and 5 half steps in a major key, so it's a major triad at first inversion. Another way to think about it. The chord at root position should be like A, C, E, or B, D, F, so on so forth. A, C, E should be the correct order at root position. So, the root should be A, and it's a dominant triad, at first inversion. For the second item, it's B flat major, but the three keys are A, C, and E flat. From A to C, it's 3 half steps. From C to E flat, it's also 3 half steps. So it's a diminished triad at root position. The root is A, and it's based on the leading tone, at root position, but it's a diminished triad. You can work out other items by yourself. Now you know how to work on those questions. It takes some time to practice. The last question is about analyzing a music piece. There are 6 items in the question. The first item is to name the key of this piece. It's 1 sharp, so it's either G major or E minor. But how to determine if it's major or minor? Here are some considerations. Melodies often begin on the tonic or dominant. Melodies often outline the tonic and dominant triads, or the scale of their key. Many melodies end on the tonic note. This music piece starts with E and ends with E. It must be E minor. The second item is to write the time signature. For each measure, it's 4 beats, and each beat is a quarter note. So the top number is 4, and the bottom number is also 4. Item 3 is to write the root quality chord symbol above the chord at letter A. There are 4 different notes, so it should be a dominant 7 note. The standard dominant 7 note is major 3, perfect 5, and minor 7. It should be 4 half steps between the first two notes, and 3 half steps between the second and the third notes, and 3 half steps between the last two notes. The first inversion is 3 half steps, 3 half steps, and 2 half steps. The second inversion is 3 half steps, 2 half steps, and 4 half steps. The third inversion is 2 half steps, 4 half steps, and 3 half steps. The 4 notes at letter A are A, B, D sharp, and F sharp. It's 2 half steps, 4 half steps, and 3 half steps. So, it's B7 chord at the third inversion, starting with A. Another way to think about it. The chord at root position should be like A, C, E, G, or B, D, F, A, so on so forth. B, D, F, A should be the correct order at root position. Item 4 is to write the functional chord symbol below the chord at letter B. There are 3 different notes, so it should be a triad. The standard minor triad is minor 3 and perfect 5. It should be 3 half steps between the first two notes, and 4 half steps between the last two notes. A minor triad at first inversion should be 4 half steps and 5 half steps. A minor triad at second inversion should be 5 half steps and 3 half steps. The 3 notes at letter B are E, A, and C. It's 5 half steps and 3 half steps. So, it's a minor triad at second inversion. Another way to think about it. The chord at root position should be like A, C, E, or B, D, F, so on so forth. A, C, E should be the correct order at root position. The root is A, so it's a subdominant triad, at second inversion. Item 5 is to name the triad at letter C. The 3 notes at letter C are B, D, and G sharp. It's 3 half steps and 6 half steps. So it's either diminished triad or augmented triad. The triad at root position should be like G, B, D. So, it's the first inversion of G-sharp triad. G-sharp to B is 3 half steps, and B to D is 3 half steps. So the quality is diminished. Item 6 is to name the interval at letter D. It's from C to E, with 2 whole steps. So it's major 10, which is a perfect 8 plus major 3. Now, we have gone through all the important concepts through some sample exam questions. Good luck to your RCM Level 8 exam. Thanks for watching.